Good evening, everybody. This is Josh Bycer from GameWisdom.com. Welcome to another episode of the Perceptive Podcast, where we examine the art and science of games. We got a great cast for you tonight. My guest is a returning fan of the site. He also is the owner of SpaceGameJunkie.com, a site that specializes in looking at all things space-related. Please welcome back to the cast, Brian Rubin.
Hello everyone. Hello Josh. It's good to be back. I'm flattered that you asked me back on. I didn't know how it went last time, so thank you.
It's great to talk to you again, Brian. How's everything going?
Oh, I cannot complain. I mean, there's so much spacey goodness to talk about these days. Oh my God, so much.
Oh yeah, it seems like we're getting a lot more of those games, like even enough that I'm noticing I'm not as big into the genre as you are.
Yeah, it's almost impossible to keep track. Like when I started the site almost 5 years ago, I did not intend it to be like a current events type site because there was nothing coming out in 2011. So I thought like I'd be talking about all the old games. Like I'd be doing 3 series on Free Space and and 2 series on TIE Fighter. But no, there's so much. It's amazing.
Mm-hmm. I know last time we spoke, we started covering about the Star Citizen game. I know that seems to be like the never-ending story, and we'll probably talk more about that in a few minutes.
Okay. I'll do my best because I haven't been able to play it in about a year.
Whew. I think that's about like the last time we last spoke, too. It was like about a year or so ago.
That seems about right.
Whew. And I know, for those of you who haven't listened to our previous cast with Brian, Space Game Junkie is... You guys have certainly been growing. You say you've been doing this for 5 years, so I think you do a lot of the similar things that I've been doing, or I've been doing a lot of similar things you've been doing with podcasts, streams, videos, the works.
Well, when I started it, I didn't have a job, so I was planning on doing news and textual articles, but then I got hired at 2 jobs about 2 weeks later, which, yay, but I had to really quickly learn how to manage my time, so I have kind of switched to doing video content for the most part. Mm-hmm. But we do also have a weekly podcast and some streaming. Plus, I do try and write stuff every now and again as I have time. But having a full-time job plus a busy social life is a real juggling act when you're also trying to have an active blog.
Oh, yeah, definitely. And with Game Wisdom has slowly been consuming most of my time, too, especially since I'm now doing a lot more of the video content and slowly but surely growing this YouTube channel, which at the time of this recording is getting freakishly close to the big 500 mark. And I need to... Oh, thank you. I don't know if that was clapping or... No,
those milestones feel good every time. Like, I remember when I hit my first 500, and then I was like, oh my God, people like me.
Yeah, they really
you
like me.
really like me.
And hopefully by the time you folks are listening to this cast, when it's posted, I should... At the rate I'm going, should be over 500. Now I just need to think of some kind of 500 subscriber like special event to do because I got no idea about that right now.
Yeah, I hear you. Not to toot my own horn, but I've been growing my own channel, and I'm probably going to hit 5,000.
Nice.
In a few months. Oh, thank you. In a few months, probably September, October. Is the best estimate. So I'm thinking of doing some kind of party. Like I've been saving all kinds of keys, and all kind of like I'm going to have some kind of virtual party where celebration
nice.
Time. Come on, So I don't know what yet, but I totally get that. Oh, I hit a milestone. Oh my God, it's so great. It feels so awesome. I love what I do.
Yeah.
So it's that's the feeling you get that keeps you going. For those milestones.
Definitely. And hopefully we'll have more good news to talk about, as always, with the site. And I'll mention this again at the end of the cast. I've been trying to grow the Patreon. For those of you who missed the announcement on the Patreon site, I have reintegrated into the first goal that if we hit that first goal, I'll start looking into making more of the developer roundtable casts again. And those are the casts where I invite a panel of developers on and we talk about topics that interest them. It's a lot of fun. It's very informative, but it's also a pain in the ass to organize. You think it's hard getting like one person on these casts? Imagine getting like 3 or 4 different people in 3 or 4 different time zones, and then making sure everyone has like an hour and a half to kill to do these things. And
can I? Sorry, go ahead.
And I just want to, and then just to quickly end that, and Originally, I was planning on making them like 2.5, 3 hours long, and after like the first one, I thought, yeah, that's never happening again. Okay.
No, I hear you. I'm trying to put a roundtable together myself of as many people as I can get who worked on the original Starflight.
Nice.
Now, if you don't know, Starflight came out in 1986.
Oh boy.
And yeah, 30 years old this year. That's why I want to talk about it. And so I've gotten 2 people so far. And I've been working on this for months. And I hope to do this year. It's already June, almost June. Yeah. So I totally get it. It's so tough to try and get people, more than one person together. So I feel you, man. It's a lot of work.
Yeah, and I've been trying to, speaking about like classic space games, I've been trying to get in touch with Paul Ritchie from Toys for Bob, who did Star Control 2, like one of my all-time favorite games, and I just cannot get a hold of the guy.
Yeah, I've tried to get a hold of him. I've also been trying to get a hold of Lawrence Holland, who, X-Wing TIE Fighter, and it's impossible. I've sent emails and nothing happens. So it's like, okay, I'm not going to bother you anymore, sir.
Yeah. And like the one developer I've been trying to get a hold of, as I just complete another tangent, I've been trying to get a hold of the guys who are doing the Cuphead game. Have you seen that game yet, Brian?
What is that?
It's a 2D. It's all done in like 1940 style, like old cartoon animation with like challenging boss fights. Like the whole thing looks like a Disney cartoon from like 1940. It looks amazing.
I'm just looking at images here of it, and yeah, it looks like those old, like really like nightmarishly creepy Disney, like early Looney Tunes cartoons where like, they were supposed to look like, yeah, this is what kids like. This is nightmare fuel.
Yes.
You people. This is nightmare fuel.
Yeah, I've been trying to get a hold of them, and they've just not been responding. And normally, like after like 2 or 3 emails, I say, okay, screw these guys. I don't want to talk to them, but I really want to talk to these guys about this game. So I'm just like sending them an email every month. Hey, remember me? I really want to talk about your game. Please send me a message.
Are you on? I think it's Games Press. Are you a member of that?
I have. I don't think I have. I have the site, but I don't think I'm actually like subscribed like on. Like, don't you have to like get like a membership or something? You have to pay for it.
No, you don't have to pay for it. Well, you don't have to pay for the member. You don't have to pay to be a member. You just have to prove you're like some kind of journalist. You have to show them you have an outlet. What you pay for, like if you want all these screenshots and videos and all this stuff, that's what you pay for. You get like credits to download that stuff, but in there, you can usually find press. If you can't find it through the site, or if that's not working, I would see if you can get an account there, and then try and find the press contact in there for that game.
Okay, maybe I'll look that up after that, because I've tried like everything else. I've been emailing the press link on their press kit like part and haven't heard anything back. But I do know that they are being published by another company. I think it could be Microsoft or something along those lines. So I'll definitely look into that and see if I can get something going. Yeah. I don't see them on the list, like actually the name of the game, so I'll probably look up the name of the studio and put that in.
I just found it. I'll send it to you.
Awesome. Oh, yeah. Thanks, Brian. See, we're doing work while we're having the podcast. It's always good.
It never stops, people. 24 hours a day. This is what you do when you have a blog that you love.
Yeah.
Just it never stops.
Yeah, instead of sleeping, I'm just like staying awake thinking of new topics and new things.
I do that too.
Yes.
I do that too. I'm like, okay, what can I do next week? Okay, I hate contests, but I should do one, but I never know what to do. Okay, but I need to do something. It's amazing, and yet you'll lie awake at night thinking, how can I make this better? So I do that too. It's insane making, but it's wonderful.
Yes.
Because it brings you such joy, and yet it brings you such pain, and yet it brings you such joy.
Joy and pain.
Exactly.
This is great. Oh, we could probably spend like the next hour just forget all topics and talk about.
Forget you people. We're just talking about how we're going to make our sites better. Forget you guys. No, we're not doing that.
We should totally have a cast like that one day, or one of these days, either I have to join your stream or you'll have to join my stream. We'll just like talk for like an hour, not play any video games. We'll just talk about what's going on.
I'll put like a video. What I do now in the podcast is for a while, just a tangent. For a while in the podcast, because we do it live. I was playing the game while we talked, and I found that makes me a terrible host because I'm concentrating on the game and not on the guest. So what I do now is I record like half an hour of video before the podcast, and then just show that on a loop. So that's what I would do if we had you on the cast. We just show some random ass game on a loop like Duskers or something.
Yeah, that would be good. Or you could just show like a like an old like dishwasher or clothing, just like going around while we're talking.
We'll get like a video of one of those old shorts, those shorts that Mystery Science Theater 3000 shows, your posture and you, and we'll just have that on in the back.
Yes.
But no, we're here to talk about games, right? That's what we're here to talk
about. At some point tonight, we'll bring that up. We'll get back to that. This is still a game podcast, right? I'm not sure.
Exactly. I think so.
Well, in terms of like news of the week, to try to get semi back on topic, there hasn't been anything like too like amazing, at least from my end. Has anything like caught your eye, Brian?
Not really. I mean, Stellaris has a big patch coming out soon. That's and Master of Orion, the one in early access, just got a massive ass patch.
Yeah, I guess for me, in terms of like, I guess keeping with the theme of like early access and updates, Clockwork Empire just got its first big push from alpha into beta. So they've been releasing, I think, monthly updates, which according, if we go by where they're at, we're at, almost like 3-4 years now. We're at, if it's considered version 0.51, it's definitely been going for ever, and it's a game that I love. I want to see this game succeed, but at the same time, I know that it's still nowhere near ready for prime time. And for those of you listening to this cast, I did put together a new player's guide to Clockwork Empires. It's up on the Game Wisdom YouTube channel now, and it just goes over like the first hour of play, stuff like that. But it's definitely coming along. It reminds me a lot of how they really developed Prison Architect after, months and months of new versions.
Yeah, I was going to ask you. I still haven't played Prison Architect, but I haven't played Clockwork Empires either, and I love city builders. So I was going to ask you what you thought of it, but it sounds like I should let it simmer in the oven for a while more before even trying to sample it sounds like.
Yeah, like I've said this like multiple times on the forums that we visit, and also to some of my friends, the early part of the game is good. Like that part seems like it's been done. The whole idea of starting to build these buildings up and trying to assign people to is all great. But there's still not much of like the mid-game and like the late-game hooks to it. Like something that changes how you play, something that messes with everything. Like the whole theme of the game is the fact that at some point you have to deal with Lovecraftian monsters and beings from beyond the veil, stuff like that. And other than like cultists and like these little octopus guys that show up, there's just not much yet on that front. And like the whole idea of the game, like when I first heard, I was like, yeah, I'm gonna play this game. And I've been like every like 4 or 5 like new builds, I usually stop in just to see what's been going on. And it's improved, but it's definitely going to be a long time. Unless, now that's in beta, it's gonna go super fast. I just don't know at what point I could say, okay, now jump into this game. Like with Prison Architect, like around like alpha, like I think it's like 15 or 16, somewhere in like the teens. I think that's when it started. You could really see that game in there. With Clockwork Empires, I'm not seeing it like all there just yet.
Yeah, that's good because I have so much in my collection. I still need to play that. That's good to hear that I can wait.
Yeah. But yeah, if you're curious, definitely watch the video I have on YouTube. That should give you a pretty good summation of the early game and sort of like the idea they're going for. I've gotten a lot better at the game now. At least people aren't going insane with hunger and resorting to cannibalism 20 minutes in. So I'm getting better there. Now we just have to deal with keeping people from going cuckoo a few times. In like the older versions, when they get too insane, they just like walk around like twitching, and they look like they're about ready to snap. And I had like my whole town looking like that. I'm going, yeah, I think it may be time to cut and run on this place.
Oh, that doesn't sound fun.
Yeah. Let's see. Anything else? I guess in news-wise, there's not much, at least right now. So let's talk about some of the games we've played, because the last few weeks have definitely brought some really great games and some very interesting games out. I guess for me, the one that I've certainly been looking at the moment has been... Well, actually, I have two. We have Space Pirates and Zombies 2.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing.
And Duskers.
Also very good. Also great.
And it's like the perfect coincidence, they're both space games. So
I know, right?
everything is just aligning. The plans are aligning for tonight's guest. So let's start with Space Pirates and Zombies 2, because that came out. Well, technically it came out in early access first, while Duskers was just released about 1 week ago from this recording. So I'm just going to call it Spaz 2 just to keep my air going, but Spaz 2, of course, is the sequel to the first game, developed by Min-Max Games. The first game was more of an isometric, very arcadey space game, with the arrival of the zombies really causing a lot of trouble. The second game adds more roguelike and persistence elements to it, with you having this whole zone to explore and dealing with factions and stuff like that. So I've already written my preview. I have a whole playlist up now. For you, Brian, what did you think of Spaz 2?
Well, I've put about 2 or 3 hours into it, and I really like it. And I'm kind of letting it sit for a while, because they're going to be doing a lot to it. And so I want to like come back in every now and again and be surprised. So, but what I've played of it, I really love. I mean, I'm usually not a big fan of building ships. I just want to fly them and shoot things with them. But if you have a game where your building is streamlined enough that it can be like dun 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 dun,
yeah,
you know, that's what this game and like games like Reassembly and Boss Constructor, those games do a great job of making the shipbuilding just boom boom boom. I have a ship, and so it's great because you're not out of the game for too long doing that, and then you're back in shooting things. So I really like that. But I love the map. Like flying around the map and like, I need some resources. Here's a fight I'm going to join, and here's a raid, and I'm going to build my own faction now. It's like it's just really great. And I mean, people are already complaining about the mid and late game, but they're going to work on it. These guys really love their game. So they're definitely going to make it something great, because I played a lot of the first game. A lot. And so I have nothing but good faith that they're going to make this awesome.
Yeah. And I think one thing that's really surprising, just how much of the game really does feel done, or at least feel complete. And I was playing the pre-early access build. They got me like just before the game went early access, and a lot of the game in terms of its mechanics are really well done, despite the fact that I think they have like 6 months to a year they're planning to be in early access.
Yeah, which is a solid plan. I mean, I like that they have a set time frame for how long they're going to be in early access. I mean, they have because this game's been developed for 4 years, So I mean, they obviously have a clear idea of not only where it is, but where it needs to go. So I like that they're like, okay, we're only going to be in early access for 6, maybe 12 months. This is what we plan to do, but we still have a long road ahead. I like that. I mean, there's so much that can go wrong with early access. I know so many people who like, excuse my language, but fuck early access. I know so many people who won't even touch an early access game anymore. So I get it. It's a double-edged sword. I mean, you have stuff like the Deep Base 9 or whatever that was, and you have other games that are just like, never finished. So I get it. But personally, I love early access. I love it because I want to see how the sausage is made. I want to dive in and be a part of every phase of development that they will let me be a part of.
Oh, yeah. I mean, that's one of the things I love about doing Game Wisdom is being able to talk to developers about their process, sit down with their games. Like we just did one with Soren Johnson, Off-World Train Company. And it's just amazing to listen to this stuff because there's just like not a lot of it out there to find. And even what's out there is sometimes it's hard to find credible resources on that front.
I know, and that's an example of early access done right. I mean, I played that game when it first came into early access, and it was like, this is kind of fun. And then I played it a week or so ago. I'm like, what the hell happened to that game I played a year or so ago? This is not that game. This game is awesome, but this is not that game I played, which was also awesome.
Yeah, and I still remember the whole space-based DF9 thing. Again, that's one of those games that people hold as an example of, screw early access. It sucks. But, I mean, it really depends on the studio, and you can really tell when a studio has a plan and when they were just, throwing shit against the wall and seeing what sticks. Like, Clay Entertainment's a good example, another one that gets it right. They've done... Let's see, Don't Starve, Invisible Ink.
Oh yeah, those guys are solid. And Invisible Ink, that's the turn-based like spying sneaky. That game is fantastic. But they see, I think the developers that do it right are the ones that like, this is our plan. If you guys have ideas and bug fixes and suggestions, we'll listen, but we still have our own vision that we're sticking to. I think that's when they do it right.
Yeah, when developers either have no vision or they just go for, create by democracy. Everyone gets to pitch something, everything gets to be added in, and it just ends up being this chaotic mess. It usually means it's just going to fail or just fizzle out.
Exactly. And it's never good to see that. Like, and some games come into early access with baggage already on them, which is a shame. Like either because of the developer or their previous games, maybe. So it's an interesting time to be a gamer for a wide variety of reasons.
And like as another example, like when I see things get like screwy, like when you see a game like just fizzle out, and then again, like you see the developer try to do it again and it doesn't work, or I'm trying to think of some really good examples, but at the same time, I don't want to name names because I don't want that on my shoulders after this. But like I've seen cases where the game goes on early access and it gets on early access in such a poor state. Oh, now I can think of my example. When developers are expecting early access to basically save the game in a sense. They're expecting, 3-4 years of funding. They're going to put this barely thought out alpha on there and say, yeah, this game sucks, but if we get enough people, this will be this amazing game in 5 years.
Yeah, and no one wants that. I mean, that's what Star Citizen is doing.
Yeah.
Segue. You want to talk about that? You want to go into that now?
Then we'll circle back around to Duskers.
Yeah. So, did you still want to talk about what I was, you want to talk about what I'm playing? Okay. Well, I'll just say I can't play Star Citizen, my friends, because I can't download it. I've been trying for months to download it, and every time I do, it stalls. Every time, I just can't download it. So, but then I see videos of it. I'm like, yeah, it's all right. I can wait. I've got things to play now. So for my blog, I've been playing, here's a nice surprise, Iron Sky Invasion, which is a space shooter based on the movie Iron Sky. Do you know that movie?
No, but it sounds familiar.
It's about moon Nazis that have been building, their infrastructure on the dark side of the moon, and then they try and take over the Earth. This is the game of them taking over the Earth, and it's a space shooter. But it's like Star Raiders, and like you have a fighter, but you have a map, and things are happening on the map, and you jump around the map, dealing with fighter squadrons and space zeppelins and things. It's really fun. Like you wouldn't think a movie tie-in game, let alone a movie tie-in game based on space Nazis, would be good, but it's really good. Like what? Like how'd that happen?
We learned that from Wolfenstein. They added again moon Nazis, and the game was amazing.
Right, exactly. I forgot about that. I haven't played Wolfenstein in so long.
Yeah.
So let's see. I've been playing Neon Chrome. Have you heard of that one?
No.
Have you heard of Crimson Land?
It sounds familiar. Is that the top-down shooter?
Yeah, Crimson Land was a top-down twin-stick shooter that came out in like the early aughts. I think it's like you're shooting zombies. This is by those same people, but it's like a neo-future roguelike twin-stick shooter where you play a different character every time as you try and take out this big boss, and it's got bright graphics and just about everything is destructible, and it's really hard, but it's so much fun. So much fun. The only downside is it's only got local co-op. I mean, I'm fine with that, but if I want to play with my friends who are online, can't do it.
Oh.
Just can't, which is sad.
Yeah.
And then I put the final thing I'll mention is I put about 4 or 5 hours into the beta for the Elite Dangerous Engineers update that they're about to release. I think that comes out tomorrow as we're recording this, I think. And that adds it adds engineers to the game that could like tweak your equipment and make it better or worse. It also revamps the mission structure and things, and it's pretty great. It like really addresses a lot of the stuff that I got burnt out on with the game, and I've got hundreds of hours in the game. So that's exciting.
Cool.
So that's what I've been playing. A lot of good stuff.
Yeah, man. I got like 4 or 5 tangents in me to bring up now, too. One thing, going back to Clockwork Empires, have you looked at or been following the game Stonehearth at all, Brian?
I actually did kickstart that one, and I have it. And I played a version of it maybe 4 or 5 months ago, and they updated fairly regularly. And the version I played was fun. I was enjoying it. I mean, it's still pretty fairly bare bones, but I was enjoying what they're doing with it. And I'm not even a fan of like Minecrafty type games, but you give me enough of a goal to do something in those games, and I'm all over it.
Yeah. Definitely. I'm exactly the same way as you. I could not get into like Minecraft or like very free-form sandbox games just don't interest me. I need something. I need some kind of carrot on the end of the stick to keep me going. Again, even if it's like something crazy, like get $1 million. Like even if it's like some crazy goal, as long as it's something I can focus on, I will play the hell of that game. But like a game like Minecraft or The Sims, like I play them for like an hour or two. I'm like, is this it? What else am I supposed to be doing here? Am I just supposed to make my house a little bigger, or get a shinier pickaxe? And they just like, I just get so tired of them.
Exactly. Like I think like Terraria I think did a better job for me with that because it actually had some goals, but it was also 2D, so that worked. But I think something like Skyrim I think is the best example because that is basically a sandbox. Yeah. But there's also tons of crap to do in that sandbox that's optional. All these quests and stuff. Like I don't need to do these quests, but I want to do them. Give me something to do, give me something to win, give me an objective, give me a mission. That's what I need. Yeah. Like I can deal with a big sandbox, but but I need a mission system. Like I'm not just about I can just trade stuff. No, I need missions. Yeah, that's why like the X games. Have you ever played like X Reunion or X Rebirth?
I'm pretty sure I have like one of those on Steam. I must have after all the Humble Bundles and whatnot. But I don't think
you probably have something. You probably have one of the X3 games, Terran Conflict, or one of those. Those games like missions are like tertiary compared to finding trade routes and building your own business. I'm like, if I want to build my business, I'll play capitalism or I'll play. I mean, those are business sims where your office is a cockpit. I'm like, no, I want to actually be a pilot. I don't want to be a business person with a ship.
What did you think of the game Factorio, or have you played that one yet?
I look at it and my brain is like, nope.
It's definitely scratching some part of my brain. It's making me happy, but at the same time, I know that if I play it now, I will never play it again, kind of thing. Like, I will get everything I need out of it in one play, and then by the time the game comes out, I'll be like, nope, I already played. I don't care what else they added to it.
Yeah, I'm looking at the Steam page right now, and I'm just like, my brain is like, nope, you do not want to play this. No. Now, if it was building a space station, I'd be like, fine, I'll play it, but it's not. So
my brain does the same thing if I look at any like visual novel game or anything that.
I can't. And they're tricky, those visual novel games. Like you'll see them on Steam, and it's like. Then a lot of them are space related, so I'll be like, "What's this?" And like, it's got a ship and a person. I'm like, "Oh, is it a tactical game? What is it?" "Oh, a visual novel." Nope. Can't click the X fast enough. Go away. No, thank you.
Yes, exactly. I tried. Like, I got on sale, like that game everyone talks about, that Hatful Boyfriend game. I tried for 10 minutes. I'm like,
a pigeon dating sim?
Yes.
Oh,
Like, what the
oh,
hell am I looking at with this? That was just
oh,
one of those times. Was like back away slowly, just uninstall it.
oh,
Don't.
there are more of them now. Like
Oh
there's
dear
one.
God!
It's a tank dating sim, like
I
World War II
I
tanks.
saw someone
I'm not even
talk
kidding.
about that.
Yeah, no, and I think there's one where you can date World War II battleships. I'm not even making this up.
The
Like
mind
they're on.
reels at that.
Yeah, some people like that.
Mm-hmm.
It's a Japanese thing, I guess. Some people like that. It's not my thing, but hey, if it's your thing, it's your
Mm-hmm.
thing.
Yep.
Fine.
Now, getting back to some games that are our things, two big names that were released very recently, as of the time of this recording, would be Doom and Overwatch. And have you played any of Overwatch yet, Brian?
No, Overwatch. I mean, it's a MOBA-esque thing. I'm not really into the
Yeah.
MOBAs, so I do want to play Doom though. I'm waiting for a sale.
Yeah,
I
me
never buy.
too.
I rarely buy games new anymore. I did that for like 15 years and bankrupted myself like
Yes.
4 times.
Mm-hmm.
You got the game industry has my money. I can wait for a
Yes.
sale.
Yeah.
But
When I used to work at like games, I was basically I get my
yes,
paycheck,
yes,
turn it
exactly.
around and go,
Paycheck.
here you go, give me a
Give me
game.
this. Yeah, you're like walking in with like give me everything, everything.
Like,
I have money now.
just pay me in video games. You don't need
Yeah,
to
exactly. I
check.
don't need to eat.
Yeah.
I don't need to eat. I need to play this.
Mhm.
But I want to play Doom because apparently the single player campaign is apparently amazing.
Yeah, that's what I've been hearing too, and it's so surprising. I think what's really surprising is that it feels like it's like the slow turnaround's been happening with id Software, starting with the last Wolfenstein game, and just
I heard that was good too.
yeah, it was. It was surprisingly good. That's the thing. Like you would think, like, oh, they're just remaking Wolfenstein again. It's going to suck, but it was surprisingly good. Was it, like 10 out of 10 game of the year? No, but as a shooter in today's market, it was really just like a breath of fresh air, especially compared, like that old classic picture they put out, modern day shooters versus classic shooter level design kind of deal, and it just worked. And that's what I'm hearing. The same thing with Doom, that they're somehow figuring out a way to get like the classic design with like modern kicks to it, like the whole progression system. Like I heard the multiplayer sucks, but again, if I'm going to play Doom, I'm going to pretty much play for that single player campaign.
Yeah, I don't care about multiplayer.
Mhm.
I single player. I mean, I used to be totally against multiplayer. I've kind of come around now that I know how to play with friends, like people I know rather than just internet randos.
Yeah.
But yeah, I still am primarily a single player type of guy. So yeah, give me good single player content.
Yeah, definitely. And that also is a good segue back into Overwatch. I played the free weekend of it, and I liked it, but I'm just not a huge like multiplayer person. I know the game right now is just strictly competitive multiplayer. I'm sorry, team versus team multiplayer. It's not as brutal as other MOBAs. Like I can't play League of Legends, Dota, all that stuff. I wash my hands of that genre. But
Oh yeah.
it seems like easy enough to get into. It has that, like that Blizzard charm to it. Like they're so good at making a game that invites you to play it, kind of thing.
Yeah, that's what Blizzard does. I was just playing. I never got into Diablo 3 when it first came out
Mhm.
because I heard it wasn't that great.
Yeah.
But when they released their big 2.0 patch a couple of years ago,
Mhm.
and everyone was saying how amazing it was, I was like, okay, I'll jump in and see what it's like. And I have lost so many hours
Oh yeah.
to Diablo 3 now because they know if they release something bugged and problematic out of the gate, they will work on it and make it amazing. They will grind and grind and grind away at it until it's like perfect.
Definitely.
And that's what they did with Diablo 3, I think, because it's amazing.
Mm-hmm. I mean, hell, I still play at least once every season now. I at least make one character and get it back up to 70. I basically make that into like a little video series on the channel. But the fact that I can still play it after all this time, I mean, they really do get that refinement. I made a post about them on the site a few days ago, at least from this recording. I mean, Blizzard is all about refinement rather than complete innovation. They will work on an idea and they will make it amazing. They're not going to make something 100% unique, but they make something that it just works, I guess.
Yeah, it's like they take something that already exists and they have the vision to improve upon it and make it incredible. which is what they did with the Warcraft games, World of Warcraft, all that stuff. So Hearthstone, I guess, apparently is amazing if you're into that sort of thing.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, I mean, that's what Blizzard excels at, and good on them. I just wish they would have, what was that StarCraft Ghost game that got canceled that I really wanted? Was that
Nova?
that? Yeah.
Something like that? StarCraft?
No, I think there was like a Ghost game. It was like a third-person shooter that looked incredible, but this is years and years ago.
Oh, yeah, I still remember when they canceled the Warcraft adventure game that they were playing.
Right, that looked amazing. I remember the art looked like a Ralph Bashki cartoon.
Mm-hmm.
Like Secret of Nim type stuff. And I was like, oh, I don't even like adventure games. I just want this for the art.
Yeah. I mean, Blizzard, they don't make a lot of games. Like, they're up there with, Valve, but when they make a game, you're going to play it. They're the company that I still save my money up for, the special editions. It's going to be something amazing in those.
Oh, yeah, if they released another Diablo 3 expansion, I'd be there day one.
Yeah.
I'm usually not at any game day one anymore, but with that, day one, no question.
Yeah, I mean, Blizzard, again, they're one of the few companies I really do respect. Just, everything they do, or just, their whole attitude for game development. It's definitely one of the best, and it's just amazing. Again, we can go, it's tangent time, but I still remember, back in the old days when they were just this little developer with Warcraft, and then StarCraft.
And the Lost Vikings, and those old Blizzard games. Blackthorn, yes.
And then all of a sudden with StarCraft, they grew, and then World of Warcraft came out, and pretty much the internet exploded after World of Warcraft came out, and it's never been the same since for them.
I mean, didn't they just release at least one or two patches for Diablo 2?
Yeah, they did something earlier in 2016 that they made an update to Diablo 2. And that's a 10-15.
That blows my goddamn mind.
And they also
sorry.
I'm sorry, they also updated them so they can run on updated operating systems too. I entered my Diablo 2 key in on my Battle.net account, and now I have Diablo 2 stored attached to it.
Oh, that's awesome. I love when companies refresh older games to make them more like the Age of series that they did, like Age of Mythology and Age of Empires and Rise of Nations. Those are all great. But the big surprise recently, have you ever heard of Nexus the Jupiter incident?
I've heard of it, but I haven't played it.
It came out in 2005, 6-ish, and it was a beautiful game back then, but people still play it because, they can still get multiplayer to work, and someone made a custom mission thing for it. But the company that bought the rights to it, Nordic Games, they released a massive patch for it that adds native widescreen support, that fixes the multiplayer, that makes it work on more modern operating systems like Windows 8 and 10. And they didn't have to do that, the game's still $10. It's not like they raised the price. It's probably going to be $250 on the Steam sale, but it's a gorgeous game, and it's 10, 11 years old. And I love when companies do that, because gamers that might not have had money back in 2005 or 1995, we have money now, and we want to and we love reliving those old memories if the game is good, So we will not mind spending our money to get a new Rise of Nations where you don't have to install 4 discs, for example.
Or the whole nightmare of Rise of Legends and trying to get that to work multiplayer.
Or work. After Rise of Nations came out, I tried to install Rise of Legends. I could not get it to work.
Yeah.
I couldn't even do it.
And just as you're saying, Brian, it's always great when this happens because it's so rare these days. But I think it's getting a little bit more common thanks to digital distribution and the fact that we're seeing a greater level of transparency from a lot of independent developers and a lot of the smaller publishers as well. Nintendo, pretty much forget about it with them. But it seems like more and more people are realizing the value of keeping these properties supported and keeping them within the public spectrum.
Well, say what you want about Nintendo and how, I guess, they haven't been the friendliest to YouTubers and stuff. But if there's a company that rests on the laurels of their existing properties, it's freaking Nintendo.
Definitely.
I mean, how many Mario games and Pokemon games? But say what you want about these games, they're all usually pretty damn good. So that's their thing, is quality, I just got a 3DS last year. I never had a DS, and I am amazed at the library of stuff on that little thing.
Mm-hmm.
Just amazed. Not only the variety, but the quality. Like, there are 2 Age of Empires games on that thing, dude.
Yeah. Yeah, that's right. They did release some on there.
Yeah, and they're turn-based, and they're amazing.
Yeah.
It's like, what?
Oh,
we're all over the place. I'm sorry, folks. We're all over the place. You get a couple gamers in a room. We'll be like,
yes. And we still haven't gone back to Duskers, which we need to at least talk about for a little bit. So,
yes.
Duskers, as we said earlier, it's been early access for I think like the last 6-7 months or so. It's finally been released 1.0. I've spoken with Tim Keenan several times on the podcast here. Great guy. And the game is just amazing. It's unique as well. At the time, by the time you hear this cast, my cast with Mayor Shepard from MetaNet Software is up, and we had a fantastic discussion about indie development and what it means to make independent games, and just that joy of being able to create something entirely unique. And Duskers just fits that mold. That would be a game that would never be made by a AAA studio. And it's just such a different experience to it. And I know I've been enjoying it, but what did you think of it, Brian?
I love it. I wish I've not had put too much time into, maybe an hour or two, and I want to put more in, but it is really something unique. Folks, if you want the experience of one of the old King's Quest games where you have 2 seconds to type something before you die, that's what this game will give you, because it's entirely on the command line. Do you remember all those old like Sierra Adventure games where it was all parser? Yeah, and like the worst was like one of the King's Quest games where you had to type a spell before this wizard woke up, and you had to do it exactly right, or you would turn into a cat or something and die, and the game would be over. And or like you had to throw a stone and close a cage in like 2 seconds. You had to type throw stone, you know. But that's what this game does. You have to like type commands for all these drones that you're trying to use to get this cargo and get this stuff off this derelict. And it is tense as, excuse my language, shit.
Yeah.
Because if you have a motion detector, you'll see that, that room's got some badness. But if you, so I'm not going to go in that room, but I got to go around that room to get through to this other thing. How do I do it? It's also like a puzzle. And God help you if you lose your motion detector. Oh, God help you.
Oh, yes.
Because you are fucked. Excuse my language again.
If you don't have some kind of detection or defense module on you,
forget it.
You're in trouble. It hurts.
Get it. It hurts. And that game is scary.
Yes.
Scary.
And it's completely minimalistic. That's like the brilliance of the game's aesthetic. It's all dirty tech, like 1980s computer graphic style. So it doesn't look like it's going to scare you, but it just lulls you in. Like, it's all passive. There's like no music other than like the sounds of the ship. And when something catches you off guard, holy crap, it gets you. Like, on my first recording of it, I pretty much had to stop the game live, so I had to just hold my chest for a few minutes going, folks, just hold on for a second. I think my heart just stopped. Let me get back. Okay, I think we're good. Let's keep going.
That's the worst when it's live, when that happens. I was playing Space Beast Terror Fright, which, folks, amazing game, by the way. And they just added these like face hugger type creeper things to the game, which always mess me up. I don't know why. Something about face huggers. That's why I can't play the Half-Life games.
Oh, yeah.
Because the face hugger things, I can't even do it. So they just added these things. I'm like, I'm just going to play it and check it out. Next thing I know, I'm screaming like a little girl, quitting the game. And like I spend the next minute or two on the podcast just going, oh my God. Jeez, I'm sorry. And this is all live and people are laughing. I'm like, you fuckers. You sons of bitch. I'm about to have the developers on. I'm like, I hate you guys. I hate you so much. So yeah, when that happens live, it's like, God damn. But people laugh, so it's fun. There's another game like Duskers, though. I'm trying to remember the name of it, where you're the guy back in the ship and you're commanding these guys remotely. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Is it at Steam Marines or no?
Oh no, it's similar. Oh no.
The
It's
Space Hulk games?
No. I'll find it. You keep talking.
Okay. And like Duskers, like I don't scream anymore. At least I'm good at that. But I go, oh, I just like make like some mixture of a groan and a growl whenever I get scared these days. And like Duskers really does get you with that. Like there's only like a few enemy types in the game, but it's all just designed so well that everything feels integrated in. If I had to complain about anything with Duskers is that I'm not sure how well it's going to hold up, like 20, 30 hours in, especially with trying to do more like the story missions. But it's such an amazing experience. Now, while you're looking up the name of the game, Brian, speaking about like horror and all that stuff, did you ever get anything like those Five Nights at Freddy's games, by the way?
Oh God, no. Oh no. No, 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 no. I will not play games like that. I have a thing, or I get way too in whatever I'm watching.
Mm-hmm.
And then like if something is scary, I will almost nearly have a heart attack. Even if it's not that scary, I will almost like did you see this is kind of a dated example, but did you see the new War of the Worlds movie with Tom Cruise?
No, I've seen like bits and pieces of it. I don't think I've ever sat down and watched the whole thing.
Okay, well, there's a scene in a basement of this building where like the aliens are kind of sleeking around with this little head on it's like this little like flashlight on a tube thing. They're kind of slinking around. Tom Cruise is like slinking around trying to avoid getting caught by them.
Mm-hmm.
I almost had I almost fainted in the theater because I was hyperventilating so damn hard because I couldn't breathe because I was like so yeah, I don't play games like that. No.
Oh,
just
yeah.
no.
Five Nights just doesn't bother me, but I've just gotten so desensitized to most horror games these days that I'm good like that. But yeah, Duskers got me because it was just completely out of the blue. That's like the best kind. Like you're not even expecting it, and it gets you.
Yeah, exactly. And it's like oh, maybe there's no one in here. Ah! Yeah, fuck. I just lost that drone.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I'm down to 3 now. Damn it, what do I do? Because
Mm-hmm.
each drone is really important, you guys.
Mm-hmm.
Each one.
And like now there's like random events that can happen, like asteroids and slam in, or one time the freaking airlock broke and all of a sudden just let in radiation. I'm like, okay, time to go. Everyone get back in, and then you start mistyping, and then added hilarity happens. No, I didn't say
God.
toe. No, I say two. I want toe. No, not Tom Toe.
Oh God, that sounds terrifying.
And yeah, I definitely want to get him on for a live play of Duskers. I think that'll be a lot of fun. Now I know they're still going to be doing some updates to it. I don't know like what the future holds for. Like if they're going to go for more content, but it seems like it's doing really well. I've seen a lot of positive impressions. It seems to be getting rave reviews. So definitely good on Tim and the rest of Misfits Act for that. Because I know this was their first early access game too.
Oh, that's got to be great then when a game like does well in early access. I mean, it's getting a lot of positive press, I've noticed. I mean, I've talked positively about it, but I noticed a lot of other people are like, yeah, this game is great because it is great.
Mm-hmm. Yep, and again, it's one of those games that you would never see outside of the independent market because no one would be crazy enough to make a 1980s era space horror roguelike type game. It's even hard to describe the game.
Yeah, how would you describe this? I guess it's a roguelike derelict scanning like retrieval game thing. It is hard to describe, isn't it?
With programming or typing into a command prompt as your only interface.
Yeah, no mouse stuff here. It's on the command prompt, which makes it crazier.
Mm-hmm. And so much more challenging when you're trying to do like 3-4 things at once, and then of course you lose a drone, or what's worse, all your modules break. They go, oh, I can hold on to that, I'll take it, 19% chance, it can't fail, right? And then everything fails, like, damn it.
Wrong, everything can fail.
Yes.
Oh, and it will fail. Everything will completely and utterly fail.
Definitely. All right, I think with that, let's get to our big topic, which will probably be interspersed with like 10 or 15 other topics, but we can at least try to move on to the next section. And that is talking about the concept of games being released in a state that's meant to be long-term. And the best example of that right now, in a game that we've both had at least some experience of looking at, is Stellaris. This is the latest game from Paradox Software. They are, of course, the makers of some of the most complicated strategy games on the market. We're talking Crusader Kings, Europa Universals, Hearts of Iron, I think, or Heart of Iron. And their games are just some of the most freaking incomprehensible games for new players to get into. I know I've talked about this before the cast. I've had a lot of trouble with them. I know, Brian, you said you had some luck with, was it Europa or Crusaders?
I've played both and I love both. I don't have the time to invest in both, but I clicked a little more hard with Europa Universalis because I guess I clicked better with the concept of countries rather than individuals, which is a shame because I love the idea of individuals. Like Star Wars Rebellion, for example, is a game almost entirely about moving individual characters around and making them do things. And so you'd think I'd love Crusader Kings, and I do, but I clicked harder with Europa. And Stellaris is kind of in more of a similar vein with Europa Universalis. You're managing empires instead of individuals. And I was kind of hoping it'd be the other way around. But, you know, we have other games coming out for that, like Pocket Space Empire and Imperia. So those are going to be awesome, by the way. But Stellaris, Stellaris. And I found the name of that other game. It's called Dead Knot.
Oh, someone was telling me about that.
Yeah, that's a game where you're like the lieutenant back on the thing telling your Marines to move around, and all you have is a screen that shows the Marines moving around where the aliens are going to be. It's freaking terrifying, but it's very similar. It's mousy. It's not command liney like Duskers, but it's very similar in kind of concept and gameplay, but also awesome.
I was looking into that. Did it come out? Was it like 2014 it was released?
Last year, I think, 2015.
Okay. And so getting back...
No, you're right. 2014. I just looked. Like late 2014.
Okay. Getting back to Stellaris. Now, the other thing about Paradox Software, besides being known as a company that makes these great games, they're also known as a company that really has poor launches with their games. A lot of games are released with either tons of bugs, features not working, just a very poor experience all around. And there's usually that joke of you buy a game from Paradox and then you wait 5-6 months before you actually play it. And this leads into this topic of talking about games that have to be supported long term, or the concept of having to return to games over months at a time. And while stuff like this with early access is still relatively new for a lot of younger gamers, I still remember, like, in the older days with like the Paradox Software games, or with a lot of smaller indie titles, you would buy the game and you would not expect like a completely working game. It's basically a work in progress after a retail launch. I know there's a lot of people who are very frustrated by that. We talked earlier in this cast about the whole screw early access mindset. So, Brian, as an older gamer like me, like when you see a game like Stellaris or a game on early access that it's released, but you know you're not meant to touch it like until at least like 5-6 months, what do you think of that?
It frustrates the hell out of me, to be honest, because I mean that's kind of the era we live in now. Like games are never done when they're done. They say they're done. Like I remember the day when you got a game in a box and it was supposed to be done, and if you needed a patch, they mailed you a floppy disk. Hello, Red Baron. But yeah, I'm going way back for that one. But nowadays, it's like most games have some kind of day one patch. And you know what? I'm kind of fine with that because like you can only have so many testers and they can only catch so much. Yeah. And I understand that game development, like a game is so many moving parts, and I get that. But the problem with Stellaris, and I don't know if you or I are going to get mail about this because I don't really like Stellaris very much.
Yeah, me neither.
Because the problem with Stellaris isn't a problem of stability and patching. It's a problem of content. It's a problem of game systems. And the thing is, there are two types of gamers I've seen play Stellaris. Those who have played Distant Worlds and those who haven't. Those who have played Distant Worlds are like, really? This is it? This is what you guys... Did you not see this thing over here that's doing all this great? No? Okay. People who haven't played Distant Worlds are like, this is amazing. It does all these things. And we're like, yeah, it does, but it doesn't. And it doesn't do other things well. And it's very frustrating because I said in my review of it, the worst games to write about are not the bad games or the good games, or the games that are just, meh. You know, those are the hardest games to write about. And Stellaris is decidedly right now, because I mean, the early game in any 4X is my favorite part. The early part where you're exploring, where you're expanding, that's my favorite part. With games, I think one of the reasons Distant Worlds works so well for me is that part never really goes away, even in the mid and late game, because your exploration game ships are still out there finding things. You're still expanding. Even if you have an empire, you're still expanding. You're still finding planets to colonize. So that part never really stops. With Stellaris, the game is like, oh, you're exploring and expanding. Wait, stop. You have too many systems now. You have to make a sector. But no, I was doing it. Nope. Sorry, you have to make a sector. But I was doing this. Okay. All right, here. But wait, I can't even do anything with those. Now you're doing oh, okay. like Distant Worlds has automation, but you choose the automation levels and you choose what gets automated. And I could still go in there and tweak stuff. With Stellaris, like, nope, sorry. This is an offense now. You go over here and play with these new toys or these other toys that aren't in the fence. What? And so I worry that Paradox banked on its reputation of post-release support in early to shove Stellaris out the door too early. That's what I worry about with Stellaris. And that is insanely frustrating.
Yeah. And again, like when the issues are just so in your face like that, that's when it's just very annoying to deal with the game. Like, I can understand if a game is released and maybe there's a bug here or maybe something doesn't work. But when you're noticing like whole systems aren't working right or they don't feel fully complete, like you know that they're just trying to, release it early and then get it fixed over like the next 5 to 6 months.
Yeah, and I mean, they've already got like 3 major patches planned for the damn thing. I think the first one is coming out within the next week. That's supposed to fix a lot of stuff. Like, they don't have a colony planner. Like they don't have a list of like even Master of Orion had a list of planets you found that will tell you which ones you can colonize. In Stellaris, like, okay, that one's green, that one's red. I have to scroll. Okay, that one over there is green, but that one's brown. Wait, okay, I just want a list. I just want a goddamn list. You know? It's like, why did you make it this way?
Yeah.
I don't understand.
And this is different from when we're talking about early access games, because with the game in early access, you're expecting it not to be there. It's not supposed to be done.
Exactly.
Like, again, with like Space Pirates and Zombies 2. I know I can't complain fully about the game because they still have 6 to 12 more months of development. They're telling me this game is not done. The same thing with Clockwork Empires. But you have a game that's released that's like this, or that's missing key features, and developers saying, "Oh, we know that. Just wait a few months. We'll get around to it." I mean, that just really annoys the hell out of me.
It's like, why did you release it like this then? Did you not compete with your own Hearts of Iron 4 release? Did you not want to compete with something else coming out later this year? Like Master of Orion, there's an example, is still in early access. And yeah, it's still a little still cooking, but it's got that Master of Orion feel, and it's great for, I think it's great for like baby's first 4X. I think that's what it'll really excel at. But clearly it's still early access. So it's like, okay, it's still early access. They're still working on it. Stellaris, like, wait, this is 1.0? Like someone on a forum, I think Quarter to 3 said, I still see this as an early access game and I'm enjoying it that way. I'm like, that's the way to look at it. If you go at it knowing this is still early access, you probably have a better expectation. Whereas me, I went in thinking it's a finished game. It's like, oh, it's not. It's not. And I hate bad talking any game. But this game has this is what worries me about this game. It has such a huge profile launch. It sold really, really well. And like, it was so frustrating watching all these other people play it. I'm like, yeah, it's so great. It's so great. It's the best game. I'm like, no, it isn't. I hate all of you. But now the more people are getting into it, people are like, wait a minute, this is not like the chinks are starting to come out of the armor or starting to be visible in the armor. Chinks? What's the right word? I don't know. I think the one might be racist. And I'm sorry if it is. The kinks in the armor are starting to become much more visible to people. Whereas where I'm like, yeah, they've been there the whole time, you guys. The whole time. It's just so frustrating. It's so frustrating to see such a big, popular 4X. And the problem is a lot of 4Xs haven't been doing well lately. 4X is a tough genre to do well. I mean, because you have Master of Orion and you have Distant Worlds. Like, if Distant Worlds didn't exist, Stellaris would be like, oh, but it exists. Yeah. And it's a mountain every 4X has to climb.
Yeah. And I mean, it's the same thing with other genres as well. When you see like that one game that comes out that's so amazing, you have to step up your game, which makes it even more like frustrating with Stellaris is the fact that Paradox pretty much competes by themselves. Like, there's no other, in terms of that genre, that's in the public eye as much as Paradox. I know there are still like a lot of 4X or Grognard level strategy games, but like you're never going to see them like given the same amount of publicity that game like Stellaris got or whatever's next from Paradox.
Exactly, and that's the thing that worries me is that if people start seeing the kinks in the armor and thinking, oh, 4X sucks or strategy games suck, it's like, no, they don't. They all don't. What about these over? Oh, fine. They're not all bad. And this one isn't even really bad. It's just not great yet. The thing about Distant Worlds, and I keep comparing it to Distant Worlds, but I can't not because it's kind of in that same vein in a lot of ways. Real time, grand strategy, blah 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 blah. Distant Worlds didn't really click with me until its second expansion. But the thing about Distant Worlds is it was complex from the get-go. It was built to be complex from like moment one. This game feels so like I feel like I'm in a hallway with a bunch of empty cups dangling from the ceiling going, there should be things in there. I should have those cups in my hand full of delicious liquid, but they're all empty. And they're just like, and the wind is blowing through. So it makes this horrible howling sound. And just like, this is Stellaris, a hallway with a bunch of empty cups that are waiting to be filled.
Yeah.
Where did that come from, that analogy? I have no idea. I'm sorry.
But yeah, and like the weird thing with Paradox is they really, really have embraced the DLC monetization model with their games. Like you look at a game like Europa Universalis, there's like 30, 40 different little pieces of DLC. And like it's not even like little things as well. There's songs, unit models. Then they have like the big expansions. Like it was a nightmare when they had like a bundle, like you could buy like different parts of it on Humble Bundle. I had like no idea what I was buying. I go, okay guys, what the hell am I supposed to be buying? There's 20 different packages. What am I getting here? Okay, you want this one, don't get that one. That includes this one. Like like what the hell?
And they make it even more confusing themselves when they offer like a Europa Universalis Extreme pack for like $45, but it only includes the DLC up to 2014.
And then
like,
you'll need the new
what are you
patch.
doing? Yeah, like what are you doing? Okay, God.
And now another thing that I think is very interesting, it's sort of along the same lines. I want to get your thoughts on this, Brian. Again, as being an older game like myself, we're seeing a lot of games go for what I've been calling just like long-term support. We're talking about a game that's released, it does well, maybe it does okay, and developers keep expanding on it, keep putting out new content. A good example, of course, be Team Fortress. We talked about Diablo 3 earlier in the cast. And, of course, my go-to example would be Payday 2, which they've turned 6 months of promised support into, I think we're going on 2, maybe 3 years at this point, that they're just keep adding more stuff to the game. And, I mean, this wasn't a case where the game was bad at the start. I mean, everyone liked Payday 2. But it's now just completely different. It's like we were talking about with Off-World Train Company earlier, and how much it changed from early access to retail. This is basically retail to retail. And it's just like a strange thing to look at. So like, what do you think about this kind of like idea of just taking a game, releasing, and then saying, we're just going to keep working on it for like the next year or two?
I'm fine with it. It depends on how it's done. Like, I know I keep talking about Distant Worlds. Disclaimer, it's my favorite 4X ever. I think that and like some other examples where you work on it, but you have maybe an expansion every year or every 6 months that adds a significant amount of content. That's kind of how they did it in the old days. Remember, like you'd buy a game, then maybe a year later, like Well, Total Annihilation, I think, had 3 of them, for example, right? And they added a lot of units, and they added more maps, and they added some mechanics. I'm fine with that sort of thing. But when you start adding like, oh, you want to buy 1 unit? That's $1. You want to buy this map pack? That's $2. It's like when they start nickel and diming you for like these little things over a period of time, that's like, I think like Civ 5 kind of got it both right and wrong. Like, when Civ 5 first came out, they had like, oh, do you want the Koreans? You have to buy this, or something like that. But then they started just releasing these expansion packs that just added just everything. So I think they learned that if you just do, I think if you do the expansion pack route, I think that's fine. And if, like, I have most of the expansions for like Crusader Kings in Europa because I like expansions. I like the idea of expansions. But like, I don't own any of the songs. I don't own any of the units or the whatever because I don't feel I need that. I guess game development doesn't happen in a vacuum and it's not free. I know developers need to make money and that's fine. But at the same time, like for Elite Dangerous, I love the game, and I bought 1 skin for it because I was flying this one ship almost exclusively for like a year. So I bought 1 skin for it because it was on sale. But that's all. But I'm not going to buy a skin for every ship I own. I'm going to buy the expansions. But I guess I'm kind of old school in that regard, like we were saying, because like I believe a game, like if you want to keep it going until you work on your sequel, you release an expansion pack that increases its longevity, that adds legs to it. But don't nickel and dime me with like, oh, if you want to play as the North Koreans, you got to buy buy that. Like, no, don't do that. So I guess it depends on the game. And some games have done it right. And I noticed, like, I think I have Payday 2, but I haven't played it yet. But their DLC model is all over the goddamn map.
Definitely. I've talked about this multiple times on the cast. I've written a few posts about it. They've just gone every which way they could monetize a game. They've pretty much done it. There's new Mask DLC packs. There's a new heist, new characters, new skill tree. No, I'm sorry, not a new skill tree, new perk decks, which that's a 10-minute discussion what they are for those of you who don't know. And the big shitstorm that happened last year was when they add in an economy system where they now have those microtransactions. Like sometimes when you beat a level, you get a save that could hold some kind of cool skin for like a gun or something. It could have stats on it. Like, oh, you want to open this? Now you need to spend, I think it was like $1.99 or $2.99 for a drill that will open that up, and you don't know what you're going to get. And of course, yeah, exactly.
That sounds like kind of the Magic the Gathering type of thing where you buy these packs and you don't know what's in there, but you might get this one amazing thing. It sounds like that.
Yeah, and everyone has hated it, even though it's optional. But then, of course, some of the skins give stat bonuses. And I've even uninstalled the game. I'm just waiting to see what's going on with it. And again, this is something that if Payday 2 kept with its original format, we wouldn't be having this discussion right now. And it's just one of those very iffy things about what has happened with game development, with supporting these games long term, is when like a game changes so much. Now, I think what you brought up a few minutes ago was a good point, Brian, about I'm also a fan of more of the expansion packs versus DLC. I don't want to spend like 99 cents 15 different times for miscellaneous crap. Let me spend, $5 for or $10 for a well put together expansion that does, this, and this. And it's sort of what they were trying to do with like XCOM, with the original XCOM Enemy Unknown. They did like the 3 DLC packs. 3 or 2, now I don't remember. And they were, looked at very unfavorably, so that, you know what, let's just make an expansion, put all this stuff together, and Enemy Within turned into like one of my favorite things. And it seems like they forgot that lesson with XCOM 2, because they did the whole DLC pack thing yet again.
Oh, really? I didn't know they were doing that with XCOM 2. I don't own XCOM 2 yet, but I want to.
Yeah. It's good, but I'm just waiting, again, I'm waiting for that point. I guess that's another good point of discussion. When there's so much content coming out, how do you know when to jump in? Like we brought up Paradox Software, with people usually say, you buy the game and then you wait 6 months. So like,
Oh my God, yeah. Like, what if someone wanted to jump into Crusader Kings 2 now? That's a good point. Like, what the hell would they get?
yeah,
I mean, I guess you could just get the base game and see if you like it. But I mean, there's so
yeah.
much that's been added to it since then. It's
Mhm.
like, where do you start?
Yeah, and another example would be like AI Wars from Arkin Games. They've been supporting that game for years now. I think it's like at version like 9.8 or 10.0 with all the
Oh, yeah. And they've
patch.
got like 6 expansions
Yeah,
for it, 5 or 6 expansions for it, I think, which is great. I think that's their biggest game,
yeah,
I think.
definitely. I think it's their most successful game too. And
Yeah, and rightly so. But they do make great stuff.
hmm and like, where do you even begin with a game like that? And it's not like these are like little expansions. They release like brand new systems, brand new mechanics. And the same thing with like Crusader Kings or the Paradox Software games. Each one of those expansions usually adds in some kind of new gameplay system to it. And it just makes the game bigger and bigger. And where the hell are you supposed to start with these games? Because if you found them tough to begin with, what are you supposed to do when you not only have to figure out how a game works, you have to figure out what expansions you want to buy now, which ones are going to fit, which ones you don't need. It just is complete madness sometimes.
Yeah, that sounds crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Super, super crazy. Yeah, I don't even know. Like, where would you want to start if you wanted to play Europa Universalis 4? Where would you even?
Mm-hmm.
Would you wait until they're done with it, and then Europa Universalis 5 is going to come out, and then get everything? I mean, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Like with XCOM 2, I played a little bit of it, but after the last like little DLC pack or whatever, I've heard that the third one's going to be the biggest. So I figure I'm just going to wait a few more months. I think it's like 2 or 3, get it then, and then jump into it. And that also brings up another interesting point. Have you played or been following the new Hitman game that came out?
Is that the episodic
Yes.
one they're
Mm-hmm.
doing? No, I've been following it, but I actually haven't played any Hitman game. I love the idea of them, and I own a bunch of them,
Yeah.
but I've never played any of them.
Yeah, me too. I found them just very challenging to get into for new players. Again, it's the same thing with like very sandbox environments, and like they do give you some goals, but I know a lot of people play them to figure, okay, I'm gonna kill the guy this way. Now I'm gonna do it this way. I'm just like, I'm just gonna run him, kill him, done. That kind of thing. So like the Hitman games, that's another good point. They're going for those of you who haven't been following, the latest Hitman game is all episodic. So like every month or two, I think there was a delay between episode 1 and 2, but now they're doing like month by month. They release a brand new map, brand new stuff, and then they have like these limited time duration like events where you can kill a specific target and get a unique reward. But it also again brings up that point that the game was released, 2, 3 months ago, but if it still has content coming out, when is someone new supposed to jump in and play it? Now, of course, some people will say you just wait for everything to come out. Others will say no, you have to get it now because you're going to miss out on stuff. And it can just become very frustrating and, more importantly, very confusing for someone who's trying to get into these games. Like as we brought with Paradox Software, I cannot imagine someone brand new picking up a game like Crusader Kings 2 and figuring it all out on their own. Unless you are a super genius and way smarter than me.
Yeah, I'm looking at Hitman right now, and there are 7 episodes
Mm-hmm.
apparently, and you can buy just one episode, the first episode, for $14.99, or you can buy the whole kit and caboodle for $60, episodes 1 through 7. What? Then you can buy a couple like episodes 2 through 7 separately, and then you can buy some DLC, which looks like episode 2 and 3. Like, it's very confusing, and the reviews don't seem to be that great for it.
Mm-hmm. And again, there's a lot of
Yeah.
people who will just immediately tune out anything early access, any kind of that kind of development cycle.
Yeah, episodic is a tricky thing. I mean, I think there have been a few examples where they've shown it just doesn't work. Like, there's that Sins episodes.
Mhm.
Remember that?
Yes.
And then didn't Half-Life do an episodic thing? And then they just stopped. They just stopped. They
Mhm.
just like said, "Fuck it."
They did like
apparently-
2, I think, of Half-Life, and then it just disappeared.
Yeah, exactly. And then they're just like, "Screw it."
Mm-hmm.
This Steam thing is making us just boatloads of cash. That's all we need.
Mm-hmm. And like with like the Half-Life example, like that's a case where the game just stopped. Now, I guess going back to something like Payday or Stellaris or anything from like Paradox Software, Like, do you follow that same model? Like, when you buy a game from Paradox, do you just sit on it for like 5, 6 months, or do you just like try to wait for like the all clear sign to go up?
Well, because I want to save money, I usually with a game, I will usually wait until it either goes on deep sale by itself, or I'll wait for like the Game of the Year edition. Like one of the reasons I don't own Fallout 4, for example, is because I'm going to wait a couple years and then get the Game of the Year edition for $9.99 on the 2017 winter Steam sale. You know, so I mean, because I already have. So that's the beauty and the curse of today's gaming is there's so much to play, and yet only so much time. I've got so many games that I have barely touched or want to play more of, and yet, so I mean, I don't need to play a game like Fallout 4 for another year or two. You know, so usually I will not jump in. I think with Crusader Kings, I only jumped in because it was like in a bundle or it was like really on sale, and like it was only like 3 expansions at that point. So I'm like, I'll just go in now. I've been wanting to try this because I kind of like the first one, even though it was a mess, you know. So but yeah, I like if it was like now and I was just jumping into Crusader Kings 2 and I saw that they're up to like 7 or 8, I'd be like, I'm gonna wait. I think.
And you see like the DLC page with like 30, 40 different lines on it. Like what?
I'd be like, okay, what are the expansions I need to buy? Just that. Just like not this, what do I need? Like go to Reddit or whatever and like everyone just tell me what I need to get. And then I'll wish list just that. And then I'll wait for it to all go on sale or be on Humble or something.
Yeah.
You know.
But I do agree with you again with, I think, the expansion model. Like, a developer actually sent me an email. I'm not going to say who it is, but they sent me an email privately about what are my thoughts on expansion packs versus DLC. And I still think that expansion packs can work. Because I think there are a lot of people who still prefer the bundle approach. Don't sell me 20 things at $1. Just give me like a $20 pack. Tell me everything that's in there and let me decide. And in most cases, it's also a lot more stable to release your games that way because you're not releasing, 20 different patches adding in all this new content.
Yeah, it also it's easier for us users to keep track of what's been added. It's probably easier to iterate on your game, and it builds anticipation. I think if you know, like another group I think that's been doing it right. A couple games that have been doing it right are Age of Wonders 3 and Endless Legend. They've been adding these serious expansions to their game that add new races and new mechanics and stuff, and they're all been awesome, you know. And I've waited with bated breath for each one of those because I really love the base game, you know. So if you nickel and dime like every week or every 2 weeks, there's no anticipation. But if you give me a new like bunch of stuff every 6 months, I'll be like, ooh, I'm waiting for that. I'm buying that day one. Absolutely. Because it's a psychological thing as well, I think.
Yeah, definitely the psychological aspect of it, that people are just far more involved, or it's far more interesting to them when they can spend like the higher price but get more content. Like every time.
Exactly.
I know there's probably some kind of psychological test or something that they've done about that with the fact that I think it is far less frustrating when you give people you can buy 3 things, it includes all this stuff, versus saying, okay, here's, 50, 60 things, same amount of price, but you have to buy them each and every one. And of course, like with Steam, you have to do like one at a time, or you have to, find each one at a time, and then hopefully the store doesn't say, oh, you have to do it again. You gotta enter them all in one.
Or say you wish list all those things. Suddenly your wish list went from 1 thing to 60. It's like, no, I just want this. God damn, just give me the whole experience. Just, fine.
And
it's frustrating.
It's kind of interesting about, again, with that whole wait and see or buying like the future games. Again, just like you, Brian, I rarely buy games day one unless I can get like a good sale, Green Man Gaming or something like that. But like something like Doom, I'm really tempted to pick that up now. Like sometimes you have to weigh in the fact that it may take like a year or 2 before it goes down, especially with popular games. If I know a game gets like a 7s or 8s out of 10, I know, okay, it's going to be good, but I bet in 4 or 5 months it'll be $20, $30 less. But if I see games that, Game of the Year or some of them, like, yeah, this game's never going on sale. It's just not. Like, I know, like, with Nintendo, like, the next Mario game, I might as well buy it day one because it will never go on sale. Or maybe in, like,
so rare, yeah.
30 years from now, it may drop down to $40.
Exactly. I just had an example in my head of a game, a good game that does this, and I totally blanked on it. Anyway, sorry. But yeah, like some games I will totally be there day one, but that's rare anymore. It's good. Like oh yeah, right now, like with Total War games, I love the Total War games, but I will not buy one until they've been out for at least a year. Like I just got Attila, just got it. Like earlier this week, I just got it because I heard it was great, and I'm like, I'm gonna wait. And then they had a sale on it. I'm like, fine, but now Total War Warhammer's looking really good. And I'm like, nope. Gotta wait. Hang tight for at least a few more expansions. They haven't even released the Blood Pack yet because they're gonna. Yeah. So just hang tight. Just wait.
Just hold.
So you can get it like in a Humble Bundle next year or something.
But yeah, I know with Doom, it's definitely taunting me to pick that one up now.
Me too. Oh my God, I want it.
Yeah.
I want it so badly. And I'm gonna wait. I gotta wait.
I'm gonna try and hold out, but I'm not promising things.
Like you know where I'm gonna put that money? I could put to Doom. There's a flight sim called Wings Over Flanders Fields. Have you heard of it?
No.
Okay, it's a World War I flight sim that's basically a giant mod for Microsoft's Combat Flight Simulator 3, but it's this expansive single player whole aerial war thing that's just this amazing dynamic campaign. It's incredible, you guys, if you're into World War I aviation. And they just released their third expansion pack. This pack adds new squadrons, new planes, better graphics. It's $40. And so I'm going to spend my money on that to support this very, very niche game that I love and wait on Doom to be like $10, $20. So it does depend on where you want to put your money as well. If I didn't have that expansion hovering over me, I'd probably put that money to Doom. But I want that expansion because I love that World War II flying game.
Yeah. And like it's the same like the good thing about doing these kinds of sites is the fact that we can get press copies from a lot of the games that we want, but then that just fills up the backlog even more.
It's interesting because I get keys and stuff for games I'm not going to cover, like because I'm a space game site, and then someone will be like, "Hey, try out our puzzle, cartoony puzzle games." Like, I'm sorry, I'm not covering this. I have to be very focused, or else I'm not going to do anything. So, like you cover a lot of varied things, so you probably can be like, "Oh, I got a key for this roguelike. I could play this, but I can't." So it's like, well, okay, thank you for the key. I guess I'll keep it, but it's like, I didn't ask for this. I'm sorry. I'm not going to cover it.
Yeah.
So it is tough. Like, 'cause if I had all the time in the world, I'd be like, I'm going to cover everything, but I can't.
Yeah, at least the one good thing is I don't cover mobile games because I don't have a smartphone, so I can at least ignore that massive.
But not only that, who has the time? Yeah. I don't cover mobile games because I just don't have the bandwidth, mentally or chronologically, I guess is the word, because there's so many mobile and there are a lot of mobile space games. It's like, what's that Master of Orion mobile game on iOS that's apparently amazing? I don't remember what it's called, but apparently Project Orion, Starbase Orion, something like that. It's apparently amazing. I can't cover it. I don't have an iOS device. And even if I did, I wouldn't because I don't have time.
Yes. And it's getting harder and harder to, like, this is pretty much this could lead into its own rant right here, but it's getting harder to look at some of these games. Like, I can't play any more games where it takes like 2-3 hours to get into it. If I can't get excited about your game like 10 minutes in, I gotta move on because I got 15 other games waiting for me. Oh
yeah, that is a constant struggle. I mean, you could say, going back to Stellaris, oh, you need to spend like so many hours into it to get to it. It's like, no, you know what? I've played enough games where I don't. I see already. I'm like, did you see the Lego movie?
Yeah.
I've become a master builder now. I see everything, So I see that this is not, and this is not. No, I'm good after 8-9 hours.
Mm-hmm.
I'm fine. I don't need to put 50, 60 hours into something.
Oh yeah. If I'm playing more than like 10 hours into something, it better be no, actually, screw that. If it's more than like 3-4 hours, it's got to be an amazing game.
Exactly. Like there aren't many games I've got more hours than that in, like maybe Elite and Vendetta Online and like Elder Scrolls Online and a few others. But like most games, like 3 or 4 hours, I'm done.
Mm-hmm.
I'm done. I got what I wanted out of it. It takes a lot for a game to grab me longer than that.
Yeah. Like
I totally get where you're coming from.
The last 2 games that I've done that would probably be Payday 2 and Xenoblade Chronicles for the Wii. Those like the last 2 games I went the long haul in. Now, a game like The Binding of Isaac or like little games where you can replay it constantly, I think those are different because you're only meant to play them for like 20-30 minutes and then you can replay them differently. But in terms of like sitting down for like a long game, it's been a very long time, no pun intended, since I've actually done that.
Yeah, it's hard to find the time anymore. I mean, as we get older, part of me feels like I'm still kind of chasing that dragon. Like, remember back in the day, you'd go to Egghead with your 3 weeks worth of allowance, and you'd buy that one game, and you'd get home and you just play it for 3-4 days straight. You can't do that anymore.
Yeah,
and even the games that want you to do that, you don't have time. Like, I love Elite Dangerous. And I love games like Elite Dangerous and Evercron Legacy, but those are games you can't just jump into and play for 20 minutes. You got to sit down for at least an hour to get something out of those. And they're wonderful, but I don't always have a block of time to devote to them. So it's a double-edged sword of being an adult gamer.
Yeah.
I can buy all these games, but I can't play all these games.
It's the old Twilight Zone episode, Paradox. I forget the name of the episode, the one with Burgess Meredith in it. There's time now. And his glasses break, but now it's the opposite. We have all the money, we just don't have all the time.
Exactly. It's such a catch-22. It really is, and yet that doesn't stop me from buying games. Yeah. Like I've got thousands of games, and yet I'm like, ooh, that looks good. Buy. Oh, that looks good. Buy. Suddenly, it's like, wait, I bought that. I own that. Like, have you ever done a Steam sale where it's like, oh, that looks great. Oh, I own it.
Yeah. Oh, I've done that a few times. I've actually bought like the same game twice. Like I bought it on Steam apparently, and I see someone on Humble. Oh, it's only $2. I gotta buy that. Wait, I can't add it. I already own it. When the hell did that happen?
I actually had to start a spreadsheet for that very reason because I accidentally bought the same game on Gamersgate and remember Impulse? I did that without knowing I did it, and I was like, I need to keep track of this.
Yeah. Oh dear God, yes. I'm up to like I think I've hit or I've come close to 1,000 games on Steam at this point. I've have to have hit it by now between everything I bought and all the press copies.
Let's see on me, because you can look. Let's look. How many do you have?
Let's see. I gotta load up Steam. Let's see. Is there a way to look at it just through like your Steam community page? Let's see.
Go to view my profile.
Let's see. What do we have? This is so exciting for you folks listening.
Oh God. Okay. No, I saw my number. It's higher than I thought. Oh my God.
Let's see. Okay, I'm logged in. What do we have? Account details. Is under account details or somewhere else?
It's on your profile.
Let me see if I can get to the profile. Okay, here we go. Let's see the grand number. Here it is. 993. That's good. Yeah, there's no problem there.
1,657.
Well, at least I'm not the worst in the room tonight. That's good.
And that's just on Steam, you guys. That's not the DRM free games. GOG, I think I have 400 games on just GOG.
Oh, I got a decent amount there too.
That's also not games I have on disc. And for the various platforms I have, like Dreamcast and 3DS and PlayStation, and it's an embarrassment of riches, but it's amazing. It's incredible, but it's like it's also kind of paralyzing. Like, have you ever like said your computer, "What do I play?"
Yeah, I've done that. God. I do that at least like 3 times a week now.
I know, like, and it's weird. The worst is like they have like things where you can like it'll look at your game, it'll look at your profile and go, "You want to play this random game?" No, I don't. Another one. I don't want to play that. No, I don't. Why not? You bought it. Why don't you want to play it, you idiot? Oh,
Oh yeah, I just checked my GOG. I have 209 games on GOG. I've bought games on there that I have not installed at all. I just bought because like, oh, that looks cool. I remember that. I gotta buy it just to own it, and now I've got over
I
200 games.
I think I bought a lot of games on GOG just so I can have the soundtrack.
Mm-hmm.
I don't even have any intention of playing them. I just want the soundtrack.
Mm-hmm.
It's worse than I thought. 472. Oh god.
Oh my god, you were
Holy crap.
the guest is not supposed to beat me when we do these comparisons.
Yikes. I didn't know it was that big. Oh my god.
And like the best part is I'm looking at this list, like I don't buy like little games. I have stuff under like the Baldur's Gate, Fallout. These are like 50, 60-hour games a piece. And I own
Neverwinter Nights and all and King's Bounty and
oh yeah, I have
all the Warhammer games and all the Elder Scrolls like Daggerfall. That's 1,000 hours if you wanted to, right there.
Yeah, I apparently own the entire King's Quest series. I'll get to that at some point, sure.
Oh yeah, I've got the entire Quest for Glory games. I've never played any of them, but yeah, sure, yeah, why not?
And apparently, at some point, I bought the Leisure Suit Larry games.
Of course, you needed those. Yeah, why not?
Ultima, yes, I've played all the Ultima games, sure.
Oh, we have problems, people. We love games too much. We love games way too much.
I mean, at this point, it's gone beyond the point of hours in the day. Like, there's no way I could play these games. There's just too many of them.
I think there's a part of me that's like, someday you're going to retire, Brian, and you're going to have all the time in the world.
And then the internet will go out.
That's when you'll play them. And then, then you'll have holodecks, and you won't touch any of these 2D. What? No.
Or the day you finally retire, that fabled asteroid will strike Steam, strike Valve, wipe it off the planet, your Steam profile will be gone, and all those games will disappear.
That's why I still like having discs for a lot of old classics.
Mm-hmm.
You know, because it's weird. Like I will double and triple dip on a game even if I have it on disc. Oh, it's on GOG. I think I own like 5 copies of Thief.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I think I own Thief Gold, and then Thief Gold on Steam, and then Thief Gold on GOG. And I think I also bought it on Gamersgate or something like ages ago. So before they did Steam. So yeah. Because it's like, ooh, I love that game. I should have multiple copies of it for no particular reason.
Yeah, you never know when one copy will go bad.
Hey, someday GOG might disappear, but I still need it on Steam. Or someday all these digital things might disappear. I still have my disc. Go me. What?
Oh.
So dumb.
Uh-huh. Oh my god.
Did you want to talk about Star Citizen at some point? I think you mentioned that at one point.
Yeah, we were talking about that at some point, 4 hours ago, when this first started. But yeah.
Someone asked me this the other day. Why don't you have more Star Citizen videos on your blog? And I answered them because I can't download it. Because every time I try and download it, it just stops. It just stops, and I'm like, I'm done with you. I'm done with your launcher. I don't want to sit here for 30 hours just to download one game. Someone actually emailed me and said, you know what? If you turn off everything that uses the internet so nothing can interrupt it, it'll be fine. I'm like, no, I'm not doing that for one game. I'm not turning off my Steam and my whatever no, you're ridiculous. I appreciate the advice, but no. So I haven't played Star Citizen in about a year. And I'm going to make a confession to you. I bought a few ships for it. And then I sold them at a profit like 6 months ago. And then I bought a lifetime key for Elite Dangerous. Because Elite Dangerous is a game I can play right now. And someone will be like, you can play Star Citizen. No, not really. Have you ever heard of Bad News Baron?
No.
He's a streamer. He's a full-time streamer. It's what he does. And he's a big Star Citizen proponent. So I watched a stream of him and a bunch of other people playing Star Citizen the other day. I'm like, this game's not going to be done till 2022. Maybe. I mean, I still have bought into it. So I still have a ship and everything. Once the game is ready, I'm just like, I got other stuff to play, you guys. Like Elite, which actually works right now. Sorry.
What are they doing funding wise? I just went on their site for the first time. I see that there's no
They're still selling ships.
Oh my god.
They're still selling ships, They're still having sales on ships that aren't even done yet, ships that you can't even fly. People are still buying them. And, I mean, if that's how your cookie crumbles, that's great. That's not how me works.
Mm-hmm.
Wow, I can't even talk anymore. But and there's still, you can still buy. I think you can still spend money for in-game credits. I think I saw a video where now you can buy pants in the game for your character.
Nice.
Like it's a clothing store. It's like a futuristic Gap, and you can actually buy. So yeah, I used to be like a huge oh my god, this game is going to be great. But as it gets farther and farther away from the date they gave us in Kickstarter back when we got it, like it was supposed to come out in 2014,
mm-hmm.
and they just kept adding stuff and adding stuff and adding stuff. Like I think one of the stretch goals was a fish tank for your hangar at one point. That was like 60 some million or something, and they passed it. Of course they did, and so it's like okay, I'm just gonna put you in the back of the room
mm-hmm.
for now. I'm gonna deal with the games up front here that I can play right now and that actually work. And I'll come back to you later. I'll check in on you next year
mm-hmm.
when I've upgraded. That's probably what I'll do. When I've upgraded my computer in a year or two, I'll try you again. Mm-hmm. Like even before I install Steam or anything, I'll install that just to see what it's like. But last time I tried it, I couldn't configure my joystick or my throttle or my pedals or my head tracking. And like it took forever to get into a match and I couldn't enjoy it. So I was just like, yeah, we're done for now. We're just done.
And
it's such a shame.
Yeah, this really goes back to what we talked about way at the beginning of this cast regarding early access and the developers who make plans versus those who just throw shit against the wall. I mean, I'm looking at these stretch goals, and there's a voice in my head saying that this is just all bullshit. Like, it went from... Yeah. I'm looking at the $64 million stretch goal, which is the pet one that you were just mentioning. You're telling me that it costs $1 million to add a pet system in the game? That doesn't make sense. Like, it just...
But all those fish are individually modeled, and they have their own AI, and each scale is individually rendered, and I don't know. Mm-hmm. I have no idea anymore.
Oh my god! And the last goal is $65 million.
And eventually, I believe they stopped adding stretch goals, which
I think that's what it's at right now. I hope, because it says.
I think they did that a while ago. But I got other stuff to play right now. I mean, there's a leak coming out. I mean, with new stuff, and they're already past 1.0. There's just a ton of games out right now that I can play now.
Mm-hmm.
Or look, I can go back and play Wing Commander. Or I could play Free Space 2, mm-hmm. If I want that experience. I don't need you right now.
Yeah.
And it's so frustrating. It's so frustrating.
And that's the thing. I'm saying that this just really is showing those telltale signs of a game that's going to crash and burn. Because it just feels like there's no, plan. Like, they're just, adding stuff by throwing darts on the board. Again, this is what's similar happened with, Planetary Annihilation and how they hit all their stretch goals. And I think it just overwhelmed them. And I know earlier this year they announced for Star Citizen there's now going to be a complete story-based single-player campaign. I think Mark Hamill and Gary Oldman are going to be in it. Like that.
I mean, that was part of the original thing, was that there was going to be Squadron 42, and it was going to be the more Wing Commander-y single-player portion of the game. I mean, that was there from the get-go, but then Mark Hamill and Gary Oldman and the woman from the X-Files, I can't remember her name.
Gillian Anderson?
Yeah, she's in it. It's like, oh, yeah, big names. It's like, oh, so that's where our money's going. And then you see video of their offices. They've got one of their offices is a door that looks like it's from a spaceship, custom door. Is that what? Is that really what our money? When I saw that, I was like, okay, I'm just gonna ignore this for a while, because there's other. The amazing thing is there's other stuff to talk about right now in space gaming, and I worry that if Star Citizen does crash and burn, and I don't want it to, I'm not hopeful about it right now, but I don't want it to crash and burn. I want it to succeed, but I'm worried if it does crash and burn, it'll drag the rest of space gaming along with it. Mm-hmm. Everyone will be like, oh no, space games are crap. You don't want to make those. You don't want to invest in those. That's kind of what happened back in the late 90s.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, when Free Space 2, the greatest space sim ever made, only sold 30,000 copies? What? Like, really? Like, what happened? And that kind of killed the genre for over a decade.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you had a few releases, but I mean, it was very sporadic after that. And I worry, and I know things come in cycles, but I worry that if Star Citizen crashes and burn, we'll have another dark ages of space gaming upon us at some point. And that really worries me.
Yeah. And I like speaking about like kind of genres, like the strategy genre definitely has been hit by a lot. I mean, right now when I think of strategy games, I either think of Civ or I think of Paradox Software. Now I know there are more companies out there. We mentioned, of course, Endless Legend. I think that's the one that was by Amplitude, and
Yeah.
but like the genre itself has really taken a nosedive. Like, there's of course people saying that there's just no market anymore. I mean, right now I'm really waiting for At the Gates by John Schaefer.
Oh God, I want that so badly. I mean, I have it,
Mm-hmm.
and the last time I tried it, I played it for like 10 minutes and it crashed. And I'm like, okay, I'm just gonna wait for this to simmer a little bit more.
Mm-hmm.
But I want
Me
that game
too.
to be finished. Oh my God. And he is like the nicest guy. Did you hear he like mortgaged his house?
Yeah.
Like what? Oh, come on, man. I will buy more things from you. Just don't do that.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, that's another game I want badly.
Yeah, that and Clockwork Empires. I want those games to be done already. I want to play them. And it's just one of those things that it's that risk. Like, this is probably another topic in of itself, but these days it's very risky to commit to a long-term game development cycle, especially with all the mobile games coming out, all the free-to-play. Again, like I was talking to Mayor about this the other day in terms of recording, but I mean, in one day, there's a good chance at least 100 games are going to be released that day between mobile, PC, the whole deal. And like to like dedicate like years of time to work on one game is such a risk. I mean, like with Star Citizen, like do they even have an actual estimated release date? Like, I think you mentioned like I'm not sure if that was a joke or not, but like 2021. Like, when did they even have an idea when it's coming out?
Not that I know, but
Yeah.
I know what you're talking about. Like 8 games came out on Steam today.
Mm-hmm.
Like who's gonna play? Who's gonna play all that?
Mm-hmm.
You know? I mean that's great that people are following their dream and getting their game out there, but it's gotta be tough
Mm-hmm.
to pray that you get seen in this ocean of games
Yeah.
and that you get your game not only recognized but that it sells well.
Oh yeah. I mean, this is one of those things. I mean, the two of us, we're more on the press journalism side at the moment. But I mean, speaking to developers, it is a scary thing these days making a game because again, there are so many factors that can screw you. What if you release your game on the wrong day and no one notices it? What if you release your game and it's $2 too much? It puts it out of the range of this game that went on sale for $5.99. What if you release it during a sale? What if you release it not on a sale? And I mean, like before, when you're dealing with just like AA, AAA companies, a lot of stuff is just handled by the publisher. You make a game, it's their job to, sell it for you. But when you're an independent developer, all that is on you. And I've definitely have seen cases, again, I don't want to name names, but I know there are a few developers out there who have really struggled with the PR and business side of making a game.
Yeah, it can't be easy. That's just the marketing alone. I mean, and I feel bad for developers who they're the sole developer and marketer.
Yeah.
I mean, it's got to be terrifying. And I'm sure it's a rush to see it on Steam or whatever, but at the same time, it's like it's got to be terrifying. And then you see some games that are great that don't sell well. It's like, oh, it's so hard sometimes to see these great games just not get noticed.
Mm-hmm. Definitely. And I know people will point to a game like Stardew Valley saying, oh, this is just from one guy, he's living the dream and all that, but you have to realize that games like Stardew Valley or Prison Architect or even Duskers, these are more like lightning in the bottle situations. They're not the norm. There are, as we said, there's probably several dozen games going up today on Steam that most people probably never even play or may never even see it on there because the game gets put on and then immediately gets shuffled off the front page. And just like bring up the front page of a store, that's a 2-hour discussion right there. But it really is a tricky time, and so many things really do need to go right for your game to be a success. I mean, we just talked about this with At the Gates, but yeah, John Schaefer, he like put up his house, he had to he put up his mortgage, he's putting everything into this game, and I mean, on one hand it's like, yay, that's passion, but on the other hand it's like, holy shit, what if this doesn't work? Like, I'm really like a little nervous about that now.
Yeah, no, I don't blame you. I mean, it's tough to be a developer. It's a tough time to be a developer, I think, with all the stuff coming out.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, that's a good post. I think that maybe something I may look into more. But yeah, I mean, it's great that things are going so well. It's so easy to get into game development. The pop culture recognizes video games as this amazing thing. We're seeing things on TV, esports, and all that. But on the flip side, you don't hear about the games that fail. Like, I know a few developers who I've spoken to who they've lost their companies because their game didn't sell well enough. And you don't hear about those stories. So, I mean, yay, it's great to hear that Stardew Valley was success and Go Undertale and all that. But if you're thinking your game's going to be the next one of those, I mean, you're pretty much living in a dream, I think.
Yeah, you're definitely setting yourself up for disappointment. I mean, there's a game that came out that's a good game. I wasn't a big fan of it myself, but it's a game called Tharsis. Have you heard of it?
Yes.
Yeah, apparently it didn't do great, so the company had to shut down.
Really? It shut down?
Yeah, Choice Provisions is no longer.
Wow. And, for those of you who don't know, Tharsis, that was the dice game, right? It was like the space thing where you're rolling the dice and trying to determine your fate kind of thing?
Yeah, and apparently, according to Steam Spy, it sold about between 20 and 30,000 copies, which you think for an indie game would be good, but apparently it's not enough. It's tough to. It's really hard to see that sort of thing.
Eesh, wow, I was not expecting to hear that.
Yeah, I know. It's a really sad story.
I know, and I know I was really heartbroken when Cryptic Common, when he decided to stop making video games, because he also had that trouble trying to get his game to sell.
Is he the guy that made those amazing like board game things?
Armageddon Empire.
Yeah.
Vic
Davis,
Infernal.
Right?
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. I know people who loved his games, and yet, he couldn't keep it going, which is just so sad.
I know. Oh my goodness, I think we've just like ran the entire gambit on this cast in the last 2 hours of recording.
Yeah, let's not end on a down note, because I do have to be going soon. But let's not end it down note. What's something positive we can talk about?
Okay. Games we're most excited about.
Okay. Have you heard of Enemy Starfighter?
No.
Okay, Enemy Starfighter was a game where you play a fighter, but you can control a fleet, and your job was to jump around a map and disrupt the empire, this evil empire of their trade and of their military. It was an amazing game, and then the developer kind of disappeared for a while, and he took the game off Steam, so we couldn't even play it, which was very sad. But then yesterday, I see this thing. It's like called House of the Dead Sons or something like that on Steam, on my update list. I don't know about you, but I love looking at my Steam update list. Like, ooh, this game updated today. It's got new maps. Christmas. So I see this game like House of the Dead Lords or something. Like, what the hell is that? I load it up. This looks like is this Enemy Starfighter? He changed the name, re-released it. I think it might be coming out soon. That's all I can say about it. But the name has been changed. That's the game I'm most excited about, because it's this game where you're a fighter, but you can jump out of your fighter and command your fleet to like attack this, protect that, and then jump back in your fighter. And it's wonderful. It's wonderful. So that and Limit Theory, which is another space game I've been excited about for years. Those are the games I'm pretty much most excited about. What about you?
Oh man, I can't even like think of like games in the future. I got so many games to play now that I don't even know like what's coming out. I just have to go by what people talk about on the forums. Like all of a sudden I see them saying, "Oh, this game's coming out." Like really? When did that happen? That was like the whole thing that happened with like Renowned Explorers. That's how I first heard about it.
Oh really?
Yeah, like I don't even pay attention to news sites anymore because there's just so many damn games to play, and we're just talking about PC games. We haven't even brought up like stuff that's released on the consoles. Like I still haven't played Let me see. There's like so many games, like, even like the Wii U that I haven't touched in months. Still, at some point, I need to pick up Bloodborne. I need to get a PS4 eventually. By the time I get one, it'll probably be a PS5. So, I mean, it's just crazy. I was looking at, I know there's that game Planet Roller Coaster, supposed to be made by...
That looks good.
Yeah, I was trying to get a press copy, and they're just too damn... They don't have any more press copies. Of course, I'm so excited about picking up Doom at some point, sooner than later. I don't know.
Have you seen, sorry to interject, have you seen Parkitect?
I've heard of it. I think, is that the one that was released early? Or, oh wait, no wait, Parkitect. I think I actually have a press copy of that. Of course, I probably do at this point. That's the one that's like a spiritual successor to Theme Park, right?
Yeah, Theme Park and Roller Coaster Tycoon. That's like the Planet Coaster and I think the Roller Coaster Tycoon world. They're more like on the buildy side of things, like build a roller coaster and then ride it. Whereas Parkitect is more of the classic business sim type of thing. And that's the one I'm a little more excited about.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I had that. I think I load up for like 5 minutes. It's still very, very early.
You do have it. You do have it.
You're spying on my Steam list, aren't you, right now?
No, when you look at a game, you can see what your friends have it, and you have it. I'm jealous.
Email the developers. I'm sure they'll be happy enough.
But I'm not going to cover it, so I don't feel right like asking for a game I'm not going to cover. So why would I do that? That's not cool.
Yeah. Oh, all right. Well, I think that at least brought some happiness, and we're now officially at the 2-hour mark. What was only supposed to be a 1-hour cast.
There was a lot of happy stuff in there, but the older you get, the more jaded you get. The more it's like I've seen some shit.
Yes.
So you get to that phase of your life where like I've seen the Blade Runner thing? I've seen fires in the skies of Orion or whatever that speech was. Like I've seen some shit. You get a little jaded.
Yeah.
But the beauty of it is we are really in a golden age of gaming, I think. Thanks to digital distribution and whatnot, where not only are there so many new games, but old games are coming back into the digital fold that we can play again. Like when GOG recently released Uprising. Oh my God, I got so happy because a lot of people love Battlezone, right? And Battlezone's great. And that's also been released on Steam, which is amazing. But Uprising was the one for me. Oh my God. So when I saw that on GOG, I was like, buy now. Don't even wait. So it's just a great time. It's like this overlap where like these new games are coming out, but all these old friends are coming back, So it's like,
Kickstarter and crowdfunding also.
Oh my God. And alpha funding and it's just so much. But I'm losing my voice. I can feel it. So I probably should go.
Yeah, me too. I was supposed to do a stream tonight, but I don't know if I have enough energy left in my
Oh, man.
throat.
Sorry.
But we definitely need to do like a stream together at some point. I think that would be a lot of fun.
I would be down. It has to be something spacey for me, but I would be down. Duskers, maybe.
Yeah,
or something
that would
like
be
that.
fun.
Something multiplayer-ish. We'll figure it out. We'll talk off stream.
Yeah, we'll do a lot of talking off stream, but I think it's definitely time to start to wrap things up. Yeah, I mean, and now that you brought up the whole GOG thing, I've realized, again, I probably have a good 150 games on there I've never touched, that maybe I can turn that into videos on the channel. At least I'll have plenty of things to play.
See, that's the thing. Like, I've noticed my channel does fairly well because I don't play all the stuff everyone else is playing. Like, I've got stuff from 1983 and stuff from 1996. So, people want to watch. Like, I get comments on videos I did a year ago for a 1996 game. It's like, wow, because people want to see that stuff. Either they see it on GOG or they read about it in an article or they want to remember it. And so, there's room for everyone, I think, if you find your niche.
Yeah.
And
of course, the only challenge is trying to get them to work like mine. Even GOG is good, but I know not all games. Some of those games can be very finicky.
Oh, like Interstate 76.
I heard about that, yeah.
Oh, yeah. There's a utility you have to get that kills Explorer.exe, runs the game, which is the only way it'll run. And then when you kill the game, it reloads Explorer. I'm not even kidding. That's how you get it to run on at least Windows 7, which is nuts.
Oh my god, I'm looking at this stuff. I mean, again, I think we've gone past the point of no return. I have more games I think I will ever play in my life. I think at this point,
Yeah,
and
me
it's never
too. But
gonna
it's
get.
like a blanket. It's like a
Yeah.
comfort blanket. It's like, ooh, I have it. I feel so nice that I have it. This is so comforting. I'm
Oh,
just
I.
hugging myself. I'm wrapping myself in this blanket of games.
Mhm. Oh, I have no mouth and I must scream. I bought that at some point. Maybe I'll get around to it eventually. Who knows?
Maybe.
Yeah.
The thing is, as I think if you have enhanced Steam, they'll tell you when you got it. And
Hmm.
so, like, someone was telling me about a game the other day. I'm like, do I own this? Oh, yeah, I bought it back in 2011. What? Yeah, fucking.
And from now on, anytime I buy a game off Steam, I need to check Steam just to make sure I haven't bought it yet. Oh my
Exactly.
goodness. But
Sadly, GOG won't tell you when you bought it. I think that would be a nice little bit of shame right there if they did that.
and the sad part is they got rid of like the cabinet display, which I loved on GOG. Now it's just all like the boxes of the games or just like little graphics. I miss my little cabinet or display case of all the classic games.
Oh, yeah, it is like a weird shelfy thing now. It
Yeah.
is the same, yeah.
Yeah, I need my boxes and all that. All right, but things have definitely gone on long enough for this
Oh,
cast.
my gosh. Yes.
So it's time for both of us to get off. I need to probably drink 3 bottles of water.
Oh, my God. I need to
Get
eat
my-
dinner.
yeah. So Brian, again, it's always a pleasure talking to you.
Oh, the
One-
pleasure's all on this side of the table.
Yeah, we need to do more with like the streaming and the videos. I'm sure it'll be a lot of fun. We need to find some games to play that we can like cross stream or just have us both playing at the same time.
Oh, yeah, no, collaborative streaming apparently is a thing
Hmm.
that people do to get more viewers. So why not? I mean, I just learned this recently, like like I got an email from a service that's going to start making it easier for YouTubers to collaborate with each other. I'm like, really? I guess it's a thing.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, yeah, let's definitely do it. But we don't want. I mean, of course, we could just spend the next hour talking on recording. I'm sure everyone will.
We
love us
so
and does
could,
do
but
our
we're
work.
not gonna torture you folks with our voices anymore. You're probably tired of us already. Oh my God.
Yeah. So we'll do some talking off recording. But again, Brian, it's a pleasure having you on, and yeah, definitely love to have you back on. Whenever. Just shoot me a message, or if I have something to say, or anything like that.
It's been a pleasure to be here, and thank you so much for having me on again.
Definitely. So, for those of you who have stuck with us to the end, first, congratulations, you've made
Good
it.
for you. Oh my God. Well done. Well done.
We'll have a link for you to print out a gold star, like those old computers. You can print out like a certificate that you've won. You've done it.
I listened to the entire podcast, and all I got was this stupid T-shirt.
Mm-hmm. So, if you would like to support Game Wisdom, there are several options available. First, if you'd like to write a guest piece for the site or be a future podcast guest, you can find all the information and links under Submissions Wanted on the front page. I am looking for anyone for these podcasts. If you're a student, developer, enthusiast, as long as you like talking about games as much as we, you'll be a fine guest on. Be sure to subscribe on Twitch and Twitter under GW Bycer to get the latest updates when I do streaming, content goes up, random thoughts and shit from me throughout the day, all that good stuff. Subscribe on YouTube under the Game Wisdom channel. There's a link on the front page, and you'll find a collection of my Let's Plays, video examinations, all kinds of great stuff and more. And lastly, you can find me on Patreon under Game Wisdom. Donations would be greatly appreciated. They'll allow me to keep putting out great content like this and help continue to support the site. I've recently updated that if we can hit that first goal, we will once again try to get those lovely developer roundtable casts going. They're so much fun, but as I said, they're such a pain in the ass to schedule and all that. But if you would like to see more of them, be sure to check out the Patreon campaign. And, of course, lastly, be sure, of course, check out Space Game Junkie, where you can... Here, Brian, where you can look at all things spacey. Would you like to pitch or sell the game to my listeners right now, Brian?
Oh,
or your site?
Thank you. I've been running Space Game Junkie for almost 5 years. It is a love letter to games with spaceships. We have a weekly podcast that we record live Tuesdays at 5:30 Pacific time on YouTube. All the content is on YouTube. You can find links to everything. YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, Twitch, everything on SpaceGameJunkie.com. Thank you for visiting, and I appreciate your patronage.
Awesome. All right. And again, we'll probably be talking for like the next hour off recording, but I think it's time to end this.
I can't, man. I can't. I need to eat dinner. I got to go.
All right, we'll talk again then real soon. So, again, thanks so much for tuning in to this cast. Hope you enjoyed it, and we will talk to you again next week. Take care, everybody.
Bye.